Whoa, a little slippery. Hey, I'm Dave, and if you're watching this video, you probably know that I'm here to talk about the Grateful Dead and a new release. It's generally why we do these videos. And today's announcement, as you probably know, if you're watching this, you probably clicked the link that had a thing, but the 2021 boxed set. Always an exciting time. I know I usually do these videos for the Dave's Picks, occasionally other things, but once a year I get to do a box set announcement, and I love these because the Dave's Picks we work very hard on and we work for a long time on them, but the box sets we work longer time. Certainly not, I wouldn't say harder, because we put the same amount of work into everything, but we do spend a lot of time on these box sets. And here we are, I'm July 18th filming this, and we've been working on this one since probably late summer of last year, just in terms of getting it all together, and then Jeffrey Norman, of course, and Plangent on the audio side. But this is a very interesting box set. It's many years in the making, in that it took on many different configurations, and it wasn't until last summer, about a year ago, about 11 months ago, that it really came together as a 7-show 20 CD box set covering 3 years, well actually covering 22 months really, from December of 1971 through October of 1973. Of course I'm talking about the St. Louis box set from December 71, October 72, and October 73. All in St. Louis, 5 shows at the Fox Theater, and then 2 more in 1973 at the Kiel Auditorium. And these are all absolutely spectacular, incredible shows. I mean, we tend to do that with our box sets. I mean, we don't bother releasing stuff unless we think it's A-plus spectacular Grateful Dead material. But when I say that this box set had many different kind of configurations and iterations, here's what's happened over the years is, I'll go back to a little over 20 years ago, 22 years ago. I was in the vault one day with Dick Latvala. In the short amount of time I got to work with Dick, he played for me 10-18-72, which I'd never heard before. And I was suitably, if you've heard it, you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't, you're about to hear it when the box set is released in a couple of months or whenever it is. But it's that show that features the playing in the band, Dark Star, Morning Dew, back into playing in the band. So I heard that, then I heard the rest of that show. I said, oh my gosh. Dick said, yeah, this one will definitely be a release someday, 10-18-72. So I kind of always had that on my radar. Shortly after that, Dick passed away. And for whatever reason, that show, for the first kind of couple of years after Dick's passing, wasn't released. Then I started listening to the other shows from that same run. 10-19 with a magnificent other one, and 10-17, which didn't feature a Dark Star or another one, but did feature a whole lot of A-plus playing. So I always had it in mind that this run of shows would be a perfect candidate for a box set. And that once 2005 rolled around and we started doing the Fillmore West box set and things like that, it started becoming a reality that we could do box sets like that, where we could do complete runs. So I did always have it in mind that we would do a box set of this St. Louis 72 run. And then other things came along, and then we did the Europe 72 box set about 10 years ago, 2011, so that kind of covered some great 72 material. But I did always have it in mind, so every time we got to a 1972 era for a Dave's Picks, I kind of kept my eyes off of 10-18, knowing that we'd do a box set someday, which was kind of always the intention, to do a 10-18, 10-17, 18-19 box set. Then, again, going back 22 years ago, Dick had given me DAT tapes of 10-29 and 10-30, 1973. So I knew those shows very well going back a long time ago, so I said, well, you know what, maybe there's a 5-show box set in here from the 72 and the 73 shows. So I kind of always had that in mind too, or maybe a mini box from the 73 shows. So there were many, like I say, many iterations. The 1971 shows in December, I also thought, I love that whole tour, the Pigpen's return. Keith had already joined the band in October of 71. Pigpen returned in December for that short 2-week run of shows in Ann Arbor and the Felt Forum in Boston and St. Louis. And the Grateful Dead's vault has always held 10-9 the first night, sorry, 12-9 the first night. But we'd always been missing a reel from 12-10. until a few years ago, as you probably know, when the Cornell material and the Beacon Theatre 76 and some of that April 78, when those things returned to the Grateful Dead vault, there were also a few reels from 71 and 72, including the missing reel from St. Louis on 12/10. So then the idea came to mind, you know what? Let's do a St. Louis box set. Let's do something from 71, the 2 shows in December, the 3 shows in 72, and the 2 shows in 1973 at the Keel. And so I pitched this idea to Rhino about a year ago. By the time I pitch something to the good folks and my good friends at Rhino, I usually have it very solidly in mind as kind of a vision of how to do it. And it's not a hard sell because I think they know that when it gets to that point, I'm quite confident that it's a pretty cool idea. And then Rhino kind of takes over on the packaging side and all the fun stuff there. So that's when we kind of got this in place as a 7-show, 20 CD box set. And I mean, there's so much to talk about here. We're covering 3 very distinct short eras in Grateful Dead history that focus on very important albums. So we've got the December 71 band, which is the same band as Skull and Roses, plus of course the addition of Keith Godchaux. And they're playing kind of it's a tour. I'm not saying they're touring behind Skull and Roses, which was recorded in the spring of 1971. But certainly that was a lot of the material they were playing. They were playing Not Fade Away, Going Down the Road most nights. Bertha, playing in the band, songs like that. The Other One, which appears on 12/10 in a magnificent version. So they were kind of playing that. Then they returned to St. Louis a year later, October of 1972, and that is very much the Europe 72 version of the band, with the exception that Pigpen was no longer touring with the Dead. His last show was in June of 72. But again, the album just came out in the fall of 72, Europe 72, so they're kind of touring that material. All of the newer, you know, Tennessee Jet and Brown Eyed Women, Ramble on Rose, and all the good stuff there, Morning Dew. Well, I mean, these are all songs that have been in the repertoire, but Deadheads who might have known the Dead through their albums and just bought Europe 72 were picking it up. That's where they'd know that. And then in October of 73, when they returned to St. Louis in the much larger Keel Auditorium, we've got stories about that in the liner notes, how they went from the Fox and then bumped it up to the Keel. They were touring behind Wake of the Flood, which was released only 2 weeks earlier on October 15th of 1973. So that's when you get all the songs like Weather Report, Sweden, Eyes of the World, and Road Jimmy, and Here Comes Sunshine. All these songs would be played at the Keel 73. So you're getting a taste of the 3 consecutive albums of Skull and Roses, Europe 72, and Wake of the Flood. We're not really getting the one right between Europe and Wake of the Flood, which of course was Bear's Choice, but that is an archival album going back to 1970. A magnificent one, but not really fitting into kind of newer material. So we've got this incredible batch now of 7 shows that we've decided to release. Jeffrey Norman checked them all out. He goes, oh my gosh, these all sound great. Interestingly enough, 3 separate recordists. We've got Rex Jackson recording the 71 shows. We have Bear, of course, recording the 72 shows. And the Owsley Stanley Foundation, Hawk, and Starfinder wrote some incredible liner notes just about Bear's recordings. So we've got the 72 shows recorded by Owsley, by Bear, and then 73 by Kid Candelario. So you get 3 distinct different recordists who have their slightly different techniques, but they all sound absolutely spectacular. And on a set list level, I've mentioned this before, I'm not much of a set list person. As long as they're playing well, I don't really care what they play. Some of the most mundane set lists I've ever seen are some of the best playing, and some of the most exciting set lists aren't played that well. These shows, all 7 of them, have great set lists, and you're getting a lot of the big songs. You're getting a couple of, 3 huge versions of The Other One. You're getting 2 monster versions of Dark Star, very different versions. You're getting Birdsong, this 1972 arrangements of Birdsong. Oh my gosh. So you're getting some great ones from 1972 with Birdsong. You're getting great Here Comes Sunshine in the 1973 shows, playing in the band. You'll see the kind of growth of playing in the band from the shorter versions in 71, similar to what would appear on Ace. Still a jam, but not extended. And then you got the 72 versions that go really big, and then 73 that become incredibly jazzy and spacey and introspective and just wonderful, wonderful playing in the band. Like I say, a couple Dark Stars, Eyes of the World, Weather Report Suite. So you're really covering, like I say, it's a short period of time, 22 months, which in the big blip, what are we now, 2022? That's, gosh, fall of 2019, doesn't seem that long ago. And that's kind of what we're facing here is a 22-month period. From, let's say, September of 2019 till now is only 22 months ago. It's not that long a time, although 2020, a bit of an outlier, seemed a little bit longer than a regular year, right? It's an incredible box set. The package is just wonderful, really wonderful packaging as you'd expect. We have liner notes, the main liner note. We've got the kind of big overriding liner note by our good friend Nick Merriweather, and then we've got shorter liner notes about each of the 3 years, 71, 72, 73. Sam Cutler, you know, what a guy, wrote some great 71 notes. 1972, Bill Weber wrote some great notes. Bill Weber is a good friend of ours from San Francisco, and he's worked on many Grateful Dead videos back 20 years ago when we were doing View from the Vault Volume 1. He worked on some of the Grateful Dead's videos with, I think, with Gary Gutierrez. So Bill Weber, as a college, I don't know, freshman, sophomore, first or second year university, somewhere in the Midwest, in Kansas, I guess, went to these St. Louis shows. So he's got a first-hand account, which will blow your mind, of this young guy and literally the life-changing moments of these shows. And again, you'll read about these in the notes. Bill did a great job. And we also were got in touch with us, Tony Dwyer, who is the promoter of the 1972 and 1973 shows, and he supplied from his personal archive loads of photos backstage with Jerry and Tony, archival documents, business records from the shows, advertising things. So we've got all this incredible material from Tony, photos, so many good photos in this box set actually from 71, 72, and 73. We kind of, I don't want to say spared no expense, but we certainly did kind of pack this booklet, as you'd have expected, of the last kind of decade of Grateful Dead box sets, going back to Europe 72 and before. If you look at the Winterland 73 and 77s, and oh my gosh, we've done some good box sets. The Warlocks thing, the wooden box, Europe 72, 30 trips, all of the other box sets. I mean, there's a reason that in the last 5 or 6 years, 7 years, the Grateful Dead and the crew at Rhino on the package design have been nominated for many Grammys for the Dead's package designs. You're getting that again too. So a really wonderful package, something you'll proudly put on your shelf. But again, the music inside of it, it is inspired and it's exciting. And again, the eras that they come from, December of 71, October of 72, and October 73, these are 3 very distinct peaks in the Grateful Dead's performing history, but they all kind of meld together into a beautiful, beautiful batch of 22 months, kind of telling the story of Skull and Roses through Europe 72, through all of the new material on Wake of the Flood, once Pigpen had left the band and the Grateful Dead were heading in that new direction of, you know, a Grateful Dead future without Pigpen, which would kind of be introduced with Wake of the Flood. So it's, I mean, it's an incredible box set. We've got other configurations. You might have heard about 1210 71. The second night of the 71 shows is being released on its own as I think a 5 LP set, a 3 CD set. And then it's something very special. This was something that Doran came up with as a very inspired touch. Doran at Rhino, one of my producing partners on the team, she came up with this incredible idea to do a 2 LP set of the Big Jam from the 10/18/72 show, playing in the band, drums, Dark Star, Morning Dew, back into playing in the band. It's about an 80-minute, I don't know, 75, 80-minute piece of music. And we're releasing that as a 2 LP set on its own. So if you don't get the box set, and I hope you do, you'll be able to get other configurations. 1210 is the first breakout. I say first breakout because you never know. Sometimes when we release a a box set like we did with the Cornell box set. Cornell was the breakout. It came out immediately along with the box set on its own as a 3 CD set or a 5 LP set. So you've got that, but we've since released the Buffalo show on vinyl as well as a record store day thing, and maybe someday we'll get the other two shows, the New Haven and the Boston, I don't know, but that is a possibility. So when I say the first breakout, again, no imminent plans, but when a show is as good as 1018 or 101972 or 1029 or 1030, even I mean, I kind of downplay it, but 1017, the kind of under the radar show from 72, because it doesn't have a Dark Star, it doesn't have another one, but it is a spectacularly perfectly played show. Likewise, 12/9/71, another show that didn't have a Dark Star or another one, but the music played that night is magnificent music. Again, Pigpen was back, he was inspired, he was healthy, he was energetic. Keith had now been in the band for a couple of months for those 71 shows. So the band was really gelling by that December tour. I love the October, November shows from 71 without Pigpen, but when he came back, Keith had been in the band a couple of months. And then of course in 72 and 73, Donna Jean was now in the band, so you've got that whole aspect of it too. So there's a lot going on, and it's a really, really wonderful time for the Grateful Dead. And I don't mean each of the 3 years, I mean the 22-month period. They were creating their own record company with Grateful Dead Records. Wake at the Flood would be the debut on that. So it is, it's a time, I'm telling you. It's a really, really great, a great batch of music. Head over to dead.net. If you're watching this on YouTube, I mean, I don't think it'll sell out immediately, it might, but it's the kind of thing where like the Dave's Picks and some of the other box sets, they do tend to sell out quite quickly sometimes. So I just head over to dead.net and pick it up if you're interested, if you're on the fence. Sooner than later is always good because they all sell out. Some a little quicker, some a little slower, but they do all sell out. This is a batch of Grateful Dead music. Again, if you like Skull and Roses, if you like Europe 72, and if you like Wake of the Flood, these 7 shows embody those sounds, that sound, whatever you want to call it, quite perfectly. So it's what I like to refer to as very accessible Grateful Dead music. The 71 shows is again, it's that Skull and Roses band. The 72 shows is the Europe 72 band heading towards the Wake of the Flood, the 73-74 sound. And then the 1973 shows at the Keel really embody that Wake of the Flood sound, the jazzier Grateful Dead. And they have, one night's got the big other one, and one's got the big Dark Star. And certainly no disappointing there. Oh, and there's an Eyes of the World. There's a couple Eyes of the World on the 73 shows, but one in particular at the end of the first set of the first night is really spectacular. I remember hearing it the first time when Dick had given me these DAT tapes, and I'll tell you exactly when it was. It was June 4th of 1999 at the Warfield. I'd left the Grateful Dead in early May of 99 after I cataloged the video collection, and I came back in June to help record the Phil Lesh and Friends shows at the Warfield, and Dick came up to me in the recording truck and handed me 2 boxes of DAT tapes. And he gave me a wink and he said, don't make copies of these. He said, and if you do, don't tell people where you got them. I respected his wishes. I didn't make copies. But 2 of the shows in there were 1029 and 1030-73. And so since 1999, I've been a huge, huge fan of these shows. I'm very happy that they're finally coming out. This box set reminds me a lot of kind of in format of the Pacific Northwest box, where it's spanning a couple of years. That spanned 1 year. This spans 22 months, almost 2 years. And it's instead of being 3 cities, it's 1 city. But the Dead seem to play well in St. Louis. There's a whole bit in there about the Dead's history with the Fox, the Dead's history with moving to the Keel for the 73 shows. It's some really fine stuff. I love this box, as you can probably tell. I could keep talking about this. I could go through the set list. I'm not going to. You can look up the set list. We'll have them all posted on dead.net, I'm expecting. You can click the button. You can buy it there. But I do highly recommend this. I think like right out of the gate, this box set is going to blow your mind. What else do I need to tell you? No, I don't think there's much more to say except for head over to dead.net if you get a chance. If you're on the fence, get it sooner than later. If you don't want it, that's okay too. I think it'll be a great addition to your collection. It's certainly a box set that I've been excited about for decades, but I just was never sure how exactly to do it. And now, once we settled on these 7 shows, 20 CDs from this 22-month period, I have been thrilled with it since the moment we kind of set it in stone a year ago. Once again, Jeffrey Norman did a great job. The whole team at Rhino, Mark Pincus and Yvette and Doran, come on, best team in the world. Really great stuff. Rory on the package design. I mean, we as Deadheads, I think, are lucky to have Rhino kind of steering this thing, because they care. Ultimately, it comes down to that, is they care. So thank you for watching. St. Louis, listen to the river, or the ocean, listen to the river. St. Louis 71, 72, and 73. 7 complete Grateful Dead shows from December 71, October 72, and October 73. I don't think you'll be disappointed. I'm excited as heck about this one. I am kind of waiting with bated breath for this thing to be released. I think it's in a couple of months. It's all on dead.net. Check it out. Thank you for watching, and we'll be here again soon, I think, with probably another Seaside chat about something totally different. Thanks for watching.